Hi, welcome back for yet another video with the Wandering Art Historian. My name is Adrienne Lee. You're watching me on YouTube, and I'm so glad you came back for yet another video. Do you remember what we're talking about? Yeah, that's right. This web series is a closer look at famous paintings part 2. And we'll be taking a closer look at a few of my favorite paintings. And I'm so excited to carry on with you. Let's get to it. Obviously, you're watching me on YouTube right now. That makes sense. But did you also know that I have a blog, the Wandering Art Historian blog? I've been working on it for the last few years. There's over 400 different blog posts, all with an art historical bent to them. I have fun writing them. I think you'll have fun reading them. Please check them out at the website that you see on the screen. Also keep in mind that I teach online art historical classes via Zoom, and those classes are kind of the inspiration for this web series. All of the artwork that you see in this series is gleaned, and the information as well, is gleaned from my classes. You could almost say they're little bite-sized tastes of what is in store when you take a class with me, the Wandering Art Historian. One of my most popular classes is a 4-week, super in-depth look at the life and the work of artist Frida Kahlo. I love Frida and I love her work, and I'm so excited to talk about her with you today. What will we be talking about? We're going to talk about this quintessential Frida Kahlo painting titled The Two Fridas from 1939. You ready? Let's take a closer look. All right, now the first thing you have to keep in mind when you're looking at a Frida Kahlo painting is that she infuses feelings and emotions into every single one of her works, okay? And we'll be able to kind of tell what Frida's going through in her life as we look at this painting and read the colors and symbols throughout, okay? First things first, I'll give you some clues. Frida, at this point in her life, things are a little kind of out of control if you think about it, okay? This painting is from 1939, and Frida's going through this weird time in her life where we see a lot of what I like to call duality. You might even take it a step further and say there's a lot of contradictions in her life, or even a series of complicated paradoxes, okay? And what's really quintessential to this painting is understanding that there are things going on in her life that are both positive and negative, and this painting kind of addresses that. So in November of 1939, Frida and her longtime love, Diego Rivera, remember that guy? They get divorced, okay? But they get remarried just over a year later in December of 1940. Incidentally, it's on Diego's 54th birthday, December 8th, 1940. That being said, she's painting this painting during a time, like I said, things are a little out of control. So first of all, she goes to France. She hangs out with André Breton and his wife. He's the guy that created Surrealism. He wants to work with her, put together an exhibition. He introduces her to a few of his famous friends, artists you may have heard of, Vasily Kandinsky, Pablo Picasso, Max Ernst, Juan Miro, you know, just a few of his famous friends. She works with my art historical crush, Marcel Duchamp, on this amazing exhibition of her work. So what we see is her reputation is really starting to take off, and she's starting to be recognized in Europe, and in fact in Paris, the capital of the art world at this time, okay? However, what else is going on in her life is her physical body is almost starting to rebel against her. Now, she's been in and out of the hospital since she was a child. She suffered from polio at the age 6, 7, recovered from that only to experience a life-altering traumatic event at the age of 18 when she was involved in a trolley accident that forced her into a life of chronic pain. She had over 30 surgeries since the trolley accident. So over the course of her adult life, almost a surgery a year, okay? Constant physical pain. And her health, while her career is like a shooting star, her health is just starting to go way, way downhill, okay? So this is a first example of that kind of duality in her life, right? What else? When an artist makes a change to their work, whether it's the technique or the pose or the medium that they're using, that's a clear sign for us art historians to kind of say, whoa, 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 something is up. And Frida does that with this painting. When you look at a lot of Frida's work, they are filled with just this emotional power, right? However, in size, they're small. They're small size, okay? But not this painting. Check this out. With this painting, Frida changes the game. Do you notice that she is painting two almost life-sized Fridas side by side on the same canvas? That's huge. That's a huge sign, a huge red flag for us art historians to say she is saying something very important. She's trying to get our attention with this painting. So let's start to read this painting together. Let's take a closer look and see what she's trying to say. All right, so where do we start? Okay, well, we have two figures. They seem to be outside. They're sitting on a bench, okay? Do you notice the sky behind them? Okay, there aren't a lot of clues as to exactly where they're located, but we do feel like they're outside, and the sky behind them looks kind of tumultuous, doesn't it? It kind of looks like maybe a storm is brewing, or there's a weather event, or what have you. The clouds are moving. So that's not great. A lot of times weather depictions in art kind of connect with the feelings or the emotions of the artist. So in this case, I definitely think that applies, okay? What else? The two figures are wearing contrasting outfits. The figure on the right, both are Frida, but the figure on the right she's wearing her traditional Mexican attire that we see her in, not only in photographs of her taken at this time, but also the way she depicts herself in her own paintings. So this is something that is familiar to us as we look through more and more of Frida's work. The figure on the left, on the other hand, is wearing all white. And do you notice it almost has kind of like a bridal feel to it? Almost looks like a wedding gown. Lots of lace, very white. And do you notice that the collar goes all the way up to her neck? It feels a little restrictive, doesn't it? Now, a number of art historians have debated what could this possibly mean. However, I want to point something out. Frida's mother was indigenous. Her people were first peoples of Mexico, okay? Her dad was German. He was European. And so some draw the connection, some art historians draw the connection between these two sides of Frida, her Mexican side and her European connection through her dad. And some see that expressed in her clothing, okay? Just ponder that. That's one interpretation. I do think it is very interesting, though, that she has put herself in something very formal on one side of the painting, but something very casual on the other side of the painting. Kind of like when we looked at those two chairs by Vincent van Gogh in a previous video. You may have to check that out. What else is going on here? Okay. Do you notice that both figures quite literally wear their heart on their sleeve. Well, at least on their chest. Their hearts are exposed. They are outside of their bodies, okay? Again, it could be a feeling of feeling exposed, vulnerability, what have you. Follow the connections of these hearts, though, how they are connected through the veins and the arteries, one figure to the next. Very interesting. Still suggesting the same person split in two, okay? They also hold hands, yet another sign of connection, and they are bold enough to look out of the painting at us, the viewers, okay? Making eye contact with us. Now, that's the basic gist of what we are seeing here in this painting, but there are two details that I want to point out to you. I want to plant a seed and see what you think, okay? The figure on the left holds in her hand something that looks like scissors, but upon further inspection, a detail of this painting reveals that these could be surgical scissors. Now, Frida would absolutely be familiar with medical equipment. She had polio as a child. She was in that terrible trolley accident at the age of 18. She has been in and out of hospitals her entire life. She knows doctors. She knows medical instruments. And what's interesting is it could also be what they call a hemostat, which is a surgical clamp used to clamp an artery or a vein, okay, to prevent it from bleeding. Now, what's interesting about that also is it doesn't seem to be working very well, does it? Do you notice that the vein or the artery that she is trying to clamp is still pumping blood, and how it bleeds onto the pure white dress that Frida is wearing? That feels pretty powerful. Feels also kind of sad, doesn't it? The other Frida, the figure on the right, holds something in her hand, and it's very difficult to see unless you find a detail like I have for you right here. And what that figure is holding is a tiny portrait of Diego Rivera as a child. Now, I think that's interesting that she is holding onto a portrait of Diego. This is at a time when their relationship is helter-skelter, right? But also the fact that in this portrait he's depicted as a child. What's interesting to me personally is the idea that children are innocent. Diego was not innocent. To say that he was a ladies' man is putting it mildly, right? So let's put all of that together and think, what is Frida really feeling, and what is she trying to tell us with this painting? When you put all of the clues together, you put all of the details together, this really feels like Frida saying, hey guys, heads up, hey everyone, not doing so great, but I'm gonna keep on going. I am two Fridas. I am split in two. I've got my career taking off while my health is taking a nosedive. I've divorced the love of my life. Maybe we'll get together, maybe we won't. Eventually they do. It's this wonderful, beautiful, terrible, sad, joyful paradox that life is a contradiction, and that Frida is two Fridas. Which Frida will I be today? I think that's really profound, and I think that's part of the reason why Frida's artwork and her life is so relevant to us today, and why we're still drawn to her and her artwork, because every day we're faced with that question. Which person am I going to be today? Which Adrian am I going to be today? I hope this painting sticks with you, and I hope it haunts you in a way that you can't stop thinking about it, because really that's the beauty of art history, and that's how profound artwork can be, where it really just sticks with you long after you're done looking at it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming back for yet another video as part of this web series, A Closer Look at Famous Paintings Part 2. I've had a really great time. I hope you have had a great time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave me a comment and tell me what you think, and definitely share it with someone in your life that you think might want to learn a little bit more about art history. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the Wandering Art Historian YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm having a blast and I hope you are too. My name is Adrienne Lee. You know me as the Wandering Art Historian. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.